Ever wondered how games decide when to attack, open doors, or trigger secret events? Well, it's not magic, it's logic. And that's where control structures come in. Welcome back, everybody. And in this episode 4 of our Lua series, we're unlocking the real power moves in Lua control structures. Control structures that give your game the brain that it needs. And control structures comprise of if statements, that is, conditional statements, and loops. So, these are the ultimate tools for making decisions and repeating actions in your code. Think of it like your morning routine. You decide whether to hit the snooze button or not, that is a conditional statement or an if statement, or how many times you check your phone before actually getting out of bed. So those are loops. And let's see how Lua makes these decisions with clean, simple logic that will level up your scripting game. So let's get started. So as always, before we start coding, first of all, let's discuss what are control structures. Well, control structures are the fundamental tools in programming that allow us to control the flow of the program. They let us decide what to do next based on conditions or repeat tasks over and over again. So here are the main types of control structures that we'll be exploring today. First of all, we have conditional statements. These statements are executed on the basis of conditions. The conditions that we define return a true or a false value. So we take decisions based on those true or false values, that is conditions. The next control structure that we will be discussing today are loops. These include for loops and while loops, and as the name suggests and the symbol suggests, these are for repeating actions multiples of times. And the final concept of control structures that we'll be discussing today are of break and continue. These help us to break out of the loop or skip our loop into another iteration. And we'll be discussing more about this later in the video, so you don't have to worry anything about that. Now, let's get started with conditional statements. In real life, we are constantly making decisions. For example, if it's raining, I'll take an umbrella, or if I finish my homework, I will watch Netflix. Similarly, in programming, we can use if statements to make these kinds of decisions. The if statements checks if a condition is true, and if it is, the code inside the if block will run. And I'll show you guys a demonstration. So, if I create a variable called local temperature and set its value as 18, for example, and then I go if temperature is more than 20, then print it is warm outside. And after that, we'll end our if block. This is used to end our if block. So according to this condition, if the temperature is greater than 20, then this code block that is inside the if block should execute. So in our case, since temperature is 18, which is not more than 20, this condition is not true. Hence, this code block will not be executed and nothing happens. So nothing is our output. Now, sometimes you just don't want to check one condition. So if our condition fails, we would want our program to take an alternative action. So in that case, our else block comes into use. So if you want to provide an alternative action if the condition is false, you can do that with else. So this is as it is, and we'll create we'll create an else block. So else print it is a bit chilly outside. So let's run and see our program. So since our first condition, that is our if condition, is not true, our else condition is executed. And this is basically how the if-else condition works. And you might be wondering, what if we want to check for more than two conditions? And that's where the else if comes in. It allows you to check multiple possibilities. So first of all, let's create another if condition. If temperature is more than 25, then print it's really hot outside. And then instead of if, we'll create an else if condition. So else if temperature is greater than 20, then print it's warm outside, else, and if neither of these conditions are true, else print it is a bit chilly outside. So if I update this value of temperature to 26, we will see that this condition, our first condition, that is the if condition, will execute. So it's really hot outside. Now if we update our temperature to 23, it is warm outside. So this else if condition is being executed. It checks for the if condition first and then the else if condition, and if these both conditions fail, then else condition. Now you can keep on adding else if conditions as per your requirement, and that is if we have multiple conditions that we want to check before writing our default, that is our else code. So it is a bit chilly outside. So if I root 10, it should execute to it is a bit chilly outside. So this is how the if, else if, and else block works, and hope you guys understood it well. And after we have discussed about conditional statements, let's move on to loops. So loops are perfect for tasks that you need to repeat. For example, a game loop that runs until the player wins or loses. And repeating actions like checking inventory, updating the score, or printing messages multiples of times. So there are two main types of loops in Lua. They are for loops and while loops. First, let's start with a for loop. A for loop repeats a block of code a fixed number of times. For example, I'll delete this code, and if I write for I equals 1, 5 do, and then our code to loop print this is repetition number, and then our concatenation operator and our I, that is loop variable. This variable right here is called the loop variable since we are using this for a for loop. And after our code, we'll type out end and then execute this. We can see that this statement is looped 5 times, and each time the value of I, this is the loop variable, is increased by 1. So 1 during the first iteration, during the second iteration this value moves on to 2, 3, 4, and then 5, as you can see here. Now if I wanted to print out the values up to 10, I would just write 10 over here and it would print out to 10. But what if I wanted to iterate the value or increase the value of I during each iteration by the number 2? So if I wanted to print out 1, then 2 increases, then 3, then again 2 increases, then 5, and so on, I would have to put another parameter here, that is our step variable or our step number. So if I put here 2, 1 or the value of I will increase by 2 during each iteration. So if I run this, it should output to 1, then plus 2, 3, and then 3 plus 2, 5, 5 plus 2, 7, and 7 plus 2, 9. And since we have only set our range for I up to 10, 9 plus 2, 11 is not printed out at all. Now if we want to print descending numbers, it is a bit different. So if I wanted to print out values from 10 to 1, just doing this much would not be enough, and it will not output to anything. If I wanted to decrease the value of 10 all the way to 1, I would have to put minus 2 if I want to decrease the value. So it should print out 10, 8, 6, 4, and then 2. Now if I want to decrease the value by 1, I should put minus 1 and it will do so. So this is a for loop in Lua. So the for loop is like a countdown or count up. It repeats a task based on a number. Now this is not the only way you can use a for loop. You can also use a for loop to go through tables, which are like arrays in Lua. And here's an example where we loop through a list of favorite fruits. So we'll define a variable called local fruits equals apple, then banana, and then cherry. So we can write it as for I equals 1 and then hashtag fruits do print I love and then fruits with an indexing of I. And after we are done with our code, end. So hashtag fruits gives us the length of the table, or the number of elements present in this table called fruits. And the loop runs once for each fruit in the list, which is shown by the increasing value of 1 or I. So fruits with the ith index, it will access each value inside this table. So let's see what it prints out to. So I love apple, I love banana, and I love cherry. So there's no space for now, so I'll put a space here, so it'll output through this. And these are the use cases for a for loop. Now moving on to a while loop. A while loop repeats a block of code while a condition is true. For example, let's say we have a variable called counter. So local counter equals 1, and then while counter is less than 1 or less than 5, less than or equals to 5, do print this is repetition number once again, and then dot dot counter. Now we do need an exit condition, and I'll tell you what an exit condition is in a while. So we'll need to, in order to exit out of this while loop, we will need to increase our value of counter. So counter equals to counter plus 1, and then end. So if we did not put this exit condition right here, this loop would keep on executing, since the value of counter would always be 1, hence it would be always less than or equals to 5. So as long as this given condition is true inside a while loop, the code that is present inside the while loop's code block will keep executing. So we put this here in order to exit out of this while loop. Now during each iteration of the while loop, the value of counter will increase by 1, so it will eventually reach 5, so and greater than 5. So once it reaches 6, this condition will be false and will exit out of the while loop. So let's run this code and see our output. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Now if we did not have this line right here, which increases our counter by 1 during each iteration, we would never exit out of this while loop. This would keep our value, the value of counter would be 1 during each iteration, and this condition would always be true because 1 is always less than 5, and this code block would keep on looping and looping. So this is our exit condition. Now there is another way of exiting out of a loop in Lua. So I will showcase the use of the break statement. So for I equals 1 to 10, do if I equals 5, then break. So this stops the loop when I equals to 5, and then we have to write our end statement for this if statement, and then our normal code. So print I and then end. So you might be able to take a guess what will happen if we execute this code. Once the value of I reaches 5, this break statement will execute. That is, this condition will be true, and then our break statement would execute, and we will exit out of this for loop. So it will print out values up to 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it breaks out of the loop. And that is how a break statement works. We can define a certain condition for the loop to break, and we use the break condition inside of the code block, and then it will break out of the loop when the condition is fulfilled. So that was it for today's video about control structures, and we have a challenge for you guys. Your challenge is to create a number guessing game where the player has to guess the right number within a limited number of tries. You can use for or while loops. And that is it for our video. If you found the video helpful, make sure you drop a like and subscribe to our channel for more such videos. And our next video will be about functions in Lua, so make sure you tune in for that. And until then, bye bye.